Well, how are we going, everyone? I know you've been sitting there for quite a while, and so I'm going to make this all snappy. You guys have probably been listening to PowerPoint presentations. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm here to talk about the Campus Central Training Project, and the Campus Central Training Project includes Learn Online. And guess what? I'm delivering this to you right now through Learn Online. I'm going to talk to you a bit about how we got there, discovering a need. So there was a need for Campus Central to look at the training, how we put the content together. I want to talk about a bit about the plan. So we had a plan, and I'll give you a bit of a demonstration, talk to you about what didn't work, and then what are you in for? How long is it going to take you? So let's go. So at Campus Central, we discovered a need to improve our training. Some of the issues that we're facing at Campus Central is that there was a staff turnover of approximately 25% annually, or roughly 10 staff across all campuses. And just at City West alone, I had about 5 staff turnover, and that's probably 50% of my staff just changed for good reasons. But you know, quality and consistency became a real problem and came under threat. And there was also a loss in productivity from me, myself, the other team leaders having to train all the staff over and over again. We were looking at around 2 to 3 hours over 2 months, and that works out to about 92 days approximately, or 184 hours on training, or 49 weeks. That is 49 weeks of hands-on solid training of turnover staff. Now, attempt to produce that on a cost analysis basis. There were great strengths in our training, so we had great how-to documents that were consistent. We nominated staff to undertake the training, and they were experienced, and they had good day-to-day hands-on fresh advice, and that was fantastic. However, there were weaknesses in our delivery of training. So there was variations on consistency and content on each Campus Central. A large amount of fractured training components that were missed whilst training. There were how-to documents. They were fantastic, like I said, but they were heavily focused on process. And the documents themselves were in multiple storage locations. We had SharePoint, Excel, charts, and also cheat sheets that people kept on their desks because it was easy to find the content. One major thing I noticed was that we were missing fundamentals, and I'll talk about them in a little bit, but the fundamentals are about why we're actually processing certain aspects of our actions and jobs and etc. So there were clear opportunities for improvement, and that started with having good ground fundamentals and start the training there. And secondly, reducing in the hands-on training that the TLs don't have to do. Like me, we're all getting worn out. So let's go and talk about how we went about it. Great, you're still here with me, and you guys aren't going anywhere anyway, so that's too bad for you, and you in the back there. You can come back, and I don't want you to miss out on what I have to say. And this is about putting the content together, the important stuff. So we had a lot of documents, we had the how-to processes, and with the discussion of the team leaders, I developed the content that contained the fundamentals, like I was saying, that was missing and a primary opportunity. So we created a document with the fundamentals and quizzes based on the top 10 activities we did. These activities gave me a launching pad to think of how this is going to fit across the Campus Central life cycle. I mean, if you've seen the life cycle of volumes of the type of things that we do, which you guys are probably already aware of, you see the charts that Paul gives you. We've got enrolment to ID cards, academic review, all across the timeline. And that was fantastic to get this running on the Learn Online site. And it was really able to launch us through getting this online. All the bits were there, but there were so many different pieces that we need to consider. And that leads me to my next topic, is creating a map. Well, here it is, everyone. Here's my plan, and this is giving us a good map of what we need to do in producing this training. Now let's head across to UniSA orientation. This is where a new staff member will start. This will have the division structures, terminology, policies, all of the information that a staff member needs to know, followed by the SAS orientation, which will give a new staff member good information about the SAS units, the functions, and a director's welcome video in there. Now let's head across to the Campus Central induction. Once a staff member reaches the Campus Central induction, they've got a number of primary modules that they need to go through. For example, we've got induction to service desk. They click on induction to service desk. Underneath there are the sub-training information that is not going to get missed. For example, telling a staff member about rosters, the opening and closing processes, banking, queue flow. All the information is laid out in there neatly, so again, like I was saying, nothing's going to get missed. And then if you want to look at it, we've got induction to phone and email systems, basic things like computer setup, UCB, our systems and training, and email setup, and also about favorites. Now let's head across and look at the secondary information, which is talking about the processes. So once the staff member has reached the stage where they've completed all of the primaries, they then move their way down to the what we're calling secondary, and these are the fundamentals of all of the top 10 processes that we do. Once they complete that, then they go to the advanced level, and that's in red there. Now you'll see also underneath all of the advances, all the little sub processes that we do that will not get missed during the training process. So there you have it, everyone. This is the map that we've used to create the Learn Online training site for Campus Central. Let's go in now and have a look at a demo. Really excited now to give you guys a bit of a demonstration on how the Learn Online training will work for Campus Central. You'll find as you hit the homepage for the training site, there are 3 boxes included with the introduction into the training. Those 3 boxes will have the UniSA orientation, and this is going to share some the introduction information to UniSA, such as division structure, schools, etc., terminology and policies. Now moving across, if you click on the SAS orientation, this is going to go into detail about the SAS units and functions and how we operate. And also I'm really excited that Alan has been able to do a video presentation for us, and that's going to give it a director's welcome video, and that will really personalize the training for the staff member. Now here's where we get to the interesting part. We're going to click into Campus Central induction here, and this is where all the magic's going to happen. So let's go and have a look. So we're at the SAS Campus Central introduction now, and now here is the fundamental, or what we're calling the primary modules that need to be completed first before they move on to any processing guides. So you'll find the quality framework and the service commitment. These are the extremely important parts to how we operate, our culture, and how we function, and how we show to the staff member what we're all about as far as servicing the student. Really important part there. Then introduction to your campus. This is where you're going to be able to find your HR modules, your Campus Central locations, and it follows on, and everything underneath, like in the plan, it goes down and delves into the different areas. So let's click on induction to service desks, for example. Okay, here you have the different areas: opening, closing, banking, finance, so nothing's going to get missed. So if I go into banking and finance, then you have all of the workbook, and it works through the information for that staff member in a nice, clear, neat area. After they complete the primary, then you've got your secondary
fundamental training. Now all across the timeline here you will see different activities. Now the Cam Central team leaders, we had a bit of a discussion about what are the top 10 processes that a new staff member should learn, and we've come across this. I've put it in a nice little timeline. So the discussion also started of like, where would a new staff member begin their training, and where do they start, where do they end? Well, it really depends on when the new staff member starts across the timeline for the student timeline. So basically it's quite fluid, and a new staff member can start at any stage. For example, let's look at secondary assessment here. So I'm going to click on secondary assessment because I've started around the time where we're going to start receiving secondary assessment, and the team leader or trainer's gone, okay, now you're going to be starting to hear about secondary assessment, so let's learn a bit about that. So we click on this secondary assessment site. Now this is where it breaks down into two areas. So you have the level 1 introductory, these are the fundamentals. Once you've completed the fundamentals, you then hit the advanced menu, or advanced level I should say. Okay, so I'm a new staff member, I want to go to the fundamental training. I click on the fundamental training. This is going to give me a presentation here. I can listen to the presentation, and so this is a catering for the learning style of
Welcome
anyone.
to the secondary assessment
Okay.
module.
So the secondary assessment will give just a short presentation video, which as you can see, it's slideshows, very easy to make. Once they've gone through the slideshow, they can then work through the workbook that's been provided for them and give them some detailed information. So I'm going to click through now to the exercises. So to demonstrate their knowledge, they get to the end, they can click on the exercises, and then the exercises are here. So we've created some fake examples, and then they can choose through their selection, and that will prompt some discussions with their new staff member should they have any. So this is how it works right through at each module. You have your introduction video with a slideshow, narrated slideshow presentation, followed by the workbook, which a new staff member can work through detailed. They can read through the information. It'll give them some quizzes, and the quizzes are fun, so not too dry, but making it fun and interactive for the new staff member, followed by resources they can work through, and then that completes their training.
Okay, so what didn't work when we started Learn Online? Well, throwing up content straight up to Learn Online just didn't work. It helped me to understand the mechanics of Learn Online, but I did have to go back and then develop the framework. Have a plan first and discover what your needs are before adding anything to Learn Online, and also clarify what you're trying to achieve with your team and have a clear objective from the outset. For us, it wasn't just about putting words on screen, but giving a new staff member a good learning pathway. Also, keep your style simple and friendly, and don't make it overcomplicated. If you have a team, use them to bounce ideas off and create content that will make the process really fast. So we used tools such as Trello, which is a web-based project management application, so task allocations, and also Dropbox to share and edit content amongst each other. Content development will take some time, but it shouldn't take 12 months either. Depending on how much you need to include in your training, you can expect this will take a few months from concept to delivery. Learn Online will never replace one-on-one training, but the one-on-one training that will happen will be more refined and more meaningful to the new staff member. So comparison between the staff that went through the fundamental training and those that didn't do it, there was a noticeable difference in understanding of the processes. If we were to forecast the speed of training of new staff members, traditional training is taking at least 6 months for a new staff member to learn and understand the processes. However, a Learn Online method will reduce this down to 3 months. Remember, this will cut down time on one-on-one training, increase productivity, so this will save the unit money and clearly put the profits back into the team leader salaries. Wait, what? Yes, I'll cut that out later. Okay. Sadly, we've come to the end of the presentation, so I'd like to thank Paul for allowing me to do this project. It was really good fun and I could see it being a real benefit to Camp Central. I'd also like to thank the Camp Central team leaders for getting on board and helping me out, Jamie for your efforts and assistance in creating some content, and Steve for being the guinea pig, and all of you for listening to this presentation, so thanks very much. Wait, did you guys want to ask some questions? Yeah, good luck with that.
No? Macarena, no? Huh, okay. Eh? Oh, tagamino, por aquí no, oh, toca.